What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content daily. We also stream over on Twitch at This Is Aftersound, so come by and say hello. All right, well, we have the SPS Validator node official post regarding, I guess, the general overview as well as the license presale, which is scheduled to be happening here in about a month. So there's a lot to go through with this. Now, I've read through it twice. I'm not going to read it to you guys, but I do want to cover some of the main things. I highly recommend if you are interested in this, then you go and check it out and read it for yourself. But I guess if you're watching this video, you should be interested. If you're not interested, why are you here? I mean, actually, you know what? Let me rephrase that. If you're not interested in anything Splinterlands, but you're still here and hanging out, that's amazing. I love you. So thank you for being here. You must love the sound of my voice more than I do. So I appreciate. All right, we're digressing a little, way too far. I'm in a good mood, guys. I'm really excited. This is some very bullish news, in my opinion, and I'm just really liking a lot. Most, not all, but most of what I'm reading in this post. Maybe I'll come around to liking all of it, but I will tell you what some of my reservations are, while understandable, but we'll get to that in a moment. Okay, so we all know that with the validator nodes, this is going to be a delegated proof of stake system, similar to what Hive and EOS and BSC have. And we know that they wanted to split things out between the stakers. So if you are putting your staked votes towards validators, as well as the licenses. And I would say that the last time when Matt was on, I was hearing that this was going to be more like a 50-50 split. But as we are finding out, this is not going to be a 50-50 split. It sounds like 10% is going to be going towards the staked voting versus 90% of the rewards going out to the ones who are holding the licenses, or the node licenses, I should say. So that was one of the big, I don't want to say changes, because obviously nothing was confirmed before this, but that was one of the big things that kind of caught my attention. And it is due to the fact that they really want there to be a high incentive for the game to be as decentralized as possible, right? And what they get into here, and I won't dive too deep into it, but what ends up happening is when for the voting side, a lot of that floats to the top, right? So you're gonna have only a few select accounts. I mean, I think for them, they anticipate, the top 10 to 20 accounts really receiving a majority of the rewards. And what they want is for the incentive to be fully decentralized as possible. So people all over the world should be running this, and that's where the licenses really come in. So with that being the case, let's go ahead and jump in. I guess I'll just do this kind of section by section. So with the node licenses, we knew that SPS was going to be burned. We thought that it was all going to be burned, but it sounds like only 80% of the tokens that are bought, so for the price, and we'll get into the price in a moment, but 80% of the SPS tokens that are used for the purchase will be burned, and the other 20% are going to be sent to the DAO. So still, nothing is going to the company. This is not a play for Splinterlands, the corporation, to receive any money or funding by this. This is all either being burned, so it's going back into the ecosystem, or it's benefiting the ecosystem, I should say, or the 20% of it is going into the DAO, which benefits the ecosystem by I guess it's more for the stakeholders there, SPS stakers, to decide what to do with in the future. So that was one of the first things. Let's go down here now. So the rewards, as I mentioned, I guess I kind of jumped to this early because it was one of the biggest things, but 10% is going to be going to the top accounts. And as I said, it's probably just going to be the top 50 to 100 that get something, and only the top 10 to 20, as they're saying here, that receive the majority of rewards, which is what we kind of see across a lot of different projects that run delegated proof of stake. So, if we assume there's 50 validators that are splitting that equally, they would each get 7,500 SPS per month. That's not a bad deal, right? So the remainder of that amount is going to go to the node holders, and I want to put some actual numbers here. So as per the white paper, there's going to be 3.75 million SPS tokens given out per month. So with 10% of that going, about 375,000 to the stakers, or the voted validators, The remainder of that, so 3.375 million SPS, are going to go to the node licenses, which is a rather significant amount. Now, here's something that is brand new. In addition to the SPS rewards, there's going to be a new pool of vouchers. So about 20,000 vouchers, which is equivalent to what we have right now. So essentially doubling that pool is going to be created and allocated to the SPS Validator node licenses in order to provide further incentive for purchasing licenses and running nodes. So keep in mind that this is not going to be going to the voted validators. This is only going to the node license holders. Now, when I first read that, I was a little disappointed because I'm just like, okay, here we go. We're already starting to inflate vouchers, right? And it's not that I didn't expect them to do it. I didn't expect them to do it for this. I thought that in the future we may have some inflated vouchers for whenever there's a major release. But as they had said, that all we're going to get is 20,000 vouchers per day, and that is what it will be moving forward. So this is actually a change from what the team has stated previously. So again, I'm just trying to call out something here, which is, the team can talk about something, and in the best of intentions, they say that this is how it's going to be, and we have no intentions of changing it. And like literally less than 4 months later, now here we are, and we're essentially doubling the amount of vouchers that are hitting the ecosystem. So that was a little jarring for me when I first read that, because I'm just like, okay, well, what is the value then of staking SPS? To me, the value of staking SPS is primarily to get the vouchers, which should be scarce in a sense, so that the value is put back to those who are staking SPS. But now, with this essentially being doubled, you don't have to be a big SPS staker. Like, in fact, if you don't have too much SPS right now, you can just go buy, $1,000 worth of SPS in order to get a node license, and then you'll earn vouchers that way as well. So I don't really like that, just being very honest and transparent with you. But here's why I understand it. And it's the same reason when I kind of do an evaluation on the long term of what is going to happen to SPS staking. Now, per the white paper, and I'll need to double check this, but I don't think that I'm pretty sure, like 99% sure from the last time I read it, this 3.75 million SPS tokens per month is only going to go for 65 months as per the distribution schedule of SPS. It is not indefinite. So initially, those who are receiving this, it's all well and dandy and they're getting something. But at some point in the future, if this were to run out and there would be no vouchers, well, then you wouldn't be getting anything. You'd be getting zero rewards unless you were hoping that the DAO votes to allocate a certain amount that's within it to SPS staking rewards or validator, license rewards, whatever that ends up being, right? So since that is not guaranteed, vouchers, as I have been saying, for SPS staking, vouchers are the future value that you get. By staking vouchers, you're no longer, or once SPS is fully diluted, you will no longer be getting SPS. So the only thing that you will get is vouchers. That is the long-term, quote-unquote, APR of staking SPS. So right now, we're kind of getting the best of both worlds in a sense. But over the next 5 years, 6 years, I think 65 months, so 5.5 years, that will all run out. And therefore, they needed to have something there. They needed to have a long-term incentive for that to be the case. Now, again, it makes sense for it to be vouchers. Did I see this coming? Maybe if I had thought hard about it, then I would have, but I wasn't thinking hard about it. So like I said, it is a little jarring because I'm just like, okay, well, as somebody who is staking as much SPS as possible in order to get vouchers, now literally because of the inflationary nature of vouchers, my vouchers are technically worth half as much. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys, right? Because again, this is why people look at, governments around the world where it's just like, okay, they can just arbitrarily choose to print more money. Well, Splinterlands, the corporations just arbitrarily chose to print more vouchers, literally doubling the amount of vouchers that are entering into the ecosystem. And again, I understand it and I don't even disagree with it. So it's just one of those things that kind of rubs me the wrong way because I'm like, well, you go on this goal, you go on this path, considering all of the things that have been told to you, and then, there's a big hard fork left turn. And to me, that's kind of what this is. Now, Is that going to be bad for the economy? No, I think ultimately it'll be fine. It's just something that I needed to wrap my head around a little bit more, and hopefully the way that I'm explaining it to you makes sense in that context. So let's move on to the presale and pricing. So it's going to be in the shop in approximately 1 month. Now, there are going to be a total of 60,000 licenses available. So if you remember my example from Gala, which is an example that they gave, or at least something that they were, something that Matt had mentioned or name dropped actually in that town hall, Gala had about 50,000. So 60,000 seems reasonable within that range. I'm not surprised by the number. Now, from a pricing perspective, the presale is going to consist of both SPS and vouchers. But once the presale is completed, vouchers will no longer be required. But vouchers will give a discounted rate for the price. So let's actually break this down. Here is the little table that they have set up. And can I zoom in on this for you guys? There we go. That might be more helpful. All right. So you have, for the presale, there's going to be 2,000 sold in that first bucket, I suppose. That's going to go for $1,000 of SPS and 500 vouchers. Now, there's no discount rate for vouchers right now because vouchers are going to be included in the purchase price. And so once you get beyond that, though, you'll have tranche 1, tranche 2, tranche 3, and that first tranche is going to be 3,000. Second tranche is going to be 5,000. And once we hit a total of 10,000, so presale tranche 1 and tranche 2, the remaining tranches from there, I really like saying that word, tranche, but the remaining tranches from there will be 10,000 each. So we can look at how this will break down from a pricing perspective. So this presale is going to be $1,000 of SPS plus the vouchers. But again, as I said, moving forward, it will only be thousands of dollars of SPS, or it'll only require SPS for the purchase. So once we get to tranche 1, that's 3,000, then 5,000, 7,500, all the way to the final tranche 7, where it'll be $40,000 worth of SPS at that time to buy licenses. That's insanity. But when you think about where Gala is right now, where, I mean, they're at like 90-something thousand. They were only supposed to, well, here's another thing that I want to bring up, just because we're talking about changes and how even when things are written in stone, they can still change. With Gala, the initial projection was that the highest value for these licenses should be at 33,000. But because they were selling out so quickly, there was a change made halfway through that started increasing the jump in price from each of those tranches, right? I don't know what Gala called it. Excuse me, I need to get some water. Apologize, guys. And so because of that, that boosted things up. So can we see something like that happen in Splinterlands? Yeah, definitely. And I think there's even a precedence when you look at Gala. Will that happen? And do I hope it happens? No, of course not. I want this, what is written down to be law for all of the rest of time, right? So hopefully that doesn't end up being the case. But, I think that if things were to happen quickly, the team would move to adjust things one way or another. So where does this get interesting? Now we're going to talk about vouchers and probably go a little bit deeper into the whole voucher discount rate. So once we get past the presale and into tranche 1, there will be 3,000 available for $3,000 of SPS, but you can purchase this at a discounted rate by using vouchers. And for each voucher you can get $3 off. It's like clipping coupons, right? So each voucher you acquire will get you $3 off, up to half off the price. So that would mean that for, I guess it would be 500 vouchers. So it looks like the max is going to be 500 across the board. So if you were to get 500 vouchers at any of these tranches with the discount rate, that would be roughly half of the price. And so therefore, at that point in time, you would only need $1,500 worth of SPS as well as 500 vouchers. So still, there's still an increasing price no matter what vouchers or SPS is valued at or are valued at. There will still be an increasing pricing tier across the board. Where the arbitrage may come in is where voucher prices will be in the future. Now, what makes this really interesting, we are not yet at tranche one. We're not even in the pre-sale yet. But what makes me excited about vouchers in the future is this, to a certain extent, sets a floor price for vouchers at at the different levels within the future. And as you can see here, I guess what I'm trying to say is, let's say we go to tranche one, right? We're done with the pre-sale. If you wanted to buy a license during tranche one, or I mean, we could do any of the tranches. If you wanted to buy a license at that point in time, what you would need, or what you would need to consider, I should say, is yes, I can go in and buy $3,000 worth of SPS, but if a voucher at that point in time is less than $3, then why would I not save a little money here and there to buy vouchers when they're valued at less than $3? So anytime that vouchers would dip below $3, people who were interested in buying licenses would probably go and scoop them up. That's why I'm saying that there will be a new floor price. Now, will they actually stay at that price as a floor? I don't know. I mean, again, the market will market, and we'll have to see how everything else plays out. But if there is interest, long-term interest in the validator node licenses, then yeah, there would be, I guess what I'm trying to say is there will be upward price pressure, because there is going to be demand at some point in time, or at any point in time, I should say, while these are on sale, somebody will be looking to buy these. And so therefore, in order to take advantage of the voucher discount rate, why not try to snipe prices whenever vouchers go slightly below or even majorly below the discounted rate. So as you can see, once we get past these first couple of tranches, that makes the floor price for vouchers very, very appealing, right? So I mean, look at this. If we get to like tranche 6, all of a sudden vouchers are at $20 again. If we go up to the final tranche, that's $20. I'm sorry, $40 per voucher. I think that's more than the vouchers were during the Chaos Legion sale. And keep in mind, there's going to be other utilities applied to vouchers as well. So hopefully that value for vouchers will always be there, and there will be a significant amount of upward price pressure. But at the very least, vouchers will have some kind of floor here, that from a logical standpoint, right? From a theoretical standpoint. Obviously, I'm not saying that this is going to be the case for sure, but vouchers should potentially have a floor, which should make them an interesting purchase for right now. And as we're already seeing, before starting the video, I just checked the vouchers are already up like 20 to 25%. So that is not surprising, considering where this will be going in the future. Now, the only thing that I wanted to consider afterwards is, once these are all sold out, what does that do to voucher price? Well, I don't know, but that would remove any kind of floor for vouchers in the future. Now, keep in mind, at that point in time, if nothing else were to change, the entire economy of Splinterlands would still be getting 40,000 vouchers per day airdropped, right? 20K from SPS staking and 20K from the validator node licenses. So that would still continue indefinitely. But if there's nothing that kind of sets a floor for them at that point in the future, I don't know what could happen to the price. But we're a long way off from that. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, hopefully in that time between now and over the next 65 months, there will be other things implemented to drive value to vouchers and to keep them above a certain rate, right? So that at least hopefully is the goal, or at least what I would assume the goal would be for the team when they look at their 5 to 10 year roadmap. So that is, let's see, that is the pricing and the pre-sale. Again, we don't have a specific date, but we'll keep an eye out for that. And I guess one of the last things to talk about is the fact that, again, a reminder that none of this is going to the team or the company. I think they even said that here. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, you may notice that not even a single dime worth of value from these transactions is going to the Splinterlands Corporation. This is the real power of Web3, rather than money and value flowing from customers to business owners as it has in the past. Instead, money and value will flow into the ecosystem in which both customers and businesses are equal participants. I love that, and I think that was said in a very powerful way. The other thing, just to call out and to close this video out, is this lays out a path for nearly $1 billion worth of SPS and vouchers to be burned over a number of years. So two things to take away from that. First, $1 billion is way more than where the SPS token market cap is right now. I mean, I don't think we're even at $100 million worth of market cap. Now, and what I love about this is the fact that this burn mechanism means that the 3 billion tokens that we were not guaranteed, but is written out in the white paper, we're never going to reach that. Literally, the moment the first validator node license is sold, that SPS will be burned and gone forever and will decrease over time, right? So we're going to see some massive burns early on because the price of SPS is so much lower than what we are expecting it to be in the future. And so therefore, to burn $1,000 worth of SPS today versus $1,000 worth of SPS in a future time point when SPS is $1, there's literally a 10x in the amount of SPS being burned. So we could see some massive burns happening in the very near future over the next couple of months. Yeah, and so I guess for vouchers, that would be the same thing. The thing is, vouchers, they're airdropped and technically inflationary since we continue to get them. The last thing that I will leave you with here is that the mainnet for this, right? So licenses are not live yet, and they are not planned to go live on the mainnet until Q4 of this year. That is the goal. I will just say, like everything else, that, everything is subject to delays because that's just how it's been. But that is where things are planned for right now. So licenses will go on sale this month. I'm sorry, not this month, but in roughly a month from now, and then go into actual production or usage later on this year. So you would have to sit on it for about 6 months, not earning anything technically, but just something for you to be aware of. And I guess I'll close with this, but if you thought land was scarce at 150,000 plots, you will realize that with only 60K node licenses available, that nodes are essentially the scarcest asset type in the game, and they'll be able to earn SPS, vouchers, and potentially other rewards in the future as long as the game is running. So this is really bullish for me. This is really exciting. We should see from within the community, we should see some interesting response to this, and hopefully an increase in the different assets that are required, so both SPS and vouchers, in order to buy these. But as like when I'm talking about Splinterlands, move to a proof of stake system, I think what I'm excited about with this and the whole decentralization aspect is it may drive or attract other attention from from other projects, either in the space or in other blockchains, other people who are interested in what's happening in P2E, but also the DeFi elements that are happening and the decentralization elements, such as delegated proof of stake. So again, I'm super excited for this. I think I covered everything that I wanted to in this video. So let me know your thoughts, and we will go from there. But I'm like I said, I'm pumped. So I will catch you all in the next video, and I will see you around the game. Actually, I will leave you with a little call to action in the comments below. Just out of curiosity, are you planning to buy a node? And if so, how many would you consider? Because I'm just curious now for the community here, what the potential interest is for these now that we have more of the details and that they'll be released in about a month or so. All right, guys, have an amazing rest of your day. I'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.